Title belts to Hall of Fame. Doug and Tommy carved the name. Fists of fury and hearts of gold. Every story, every fight retold. Tales of glory, laughter, cry. Tennessee warriors with hearts open wide. In the ring or on the air, legends living without a care. On the mic they roar, on the mat they soar. Dangerous conversations, fans wanting more. Guys, kings ruling the waves. Memphis wrestling raising the stage.
Hey everybody, welcome to the very first ever video version of Dangerous Conversations with Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich. You've been hearing us for 71 episodes, and now you can see us. You've requested it. Now that you've seen us, you may request that we go back to audio. I don't know. What do you guys think?
You ain't kidding.
I don't know, but I know I sent most of them. I want to see y'all. I sent them in.
all them different emails you made.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bunch.
Hey, that's cool. They might say we have three faces for radio.
They might go, well, now we know why it was audio. But anyway, we're going to give this a try. And eventually, like I said, we'll watch some videos on here and do some fun things with the video version of the show. But we did get a flood of emails in about the middle of the week. I didn't have a lot of questions, and I checked it yesterday, and I'd gotten several all sent in, and they got some pretty good questions here. That's one thing I'll say for the listeners and now viewers of Dangerous Conversations. They do send you guys some really, really good questions.
Well, that's really cool. Like Tommy's always said, and I've said too, we don't mind answering, and you can ask anything. We'll kind of say anything, right, Gene, Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, hey, y'all want to ask some questions about Gene? I'd love to tell y'all some stuff.
Luckily, nobody wants to know anything about me, so we don't get too many questions about me. So,
man, just to start off, Gene, we want to thank Glory Days for everything they do, right, Tommy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And everything. And Jackson Tie and Timber, those guys are great and everything, and they help us out and everything. Man, you can't beat those guys. And like I said, Glory Days, John, he's a great guy, and he hooks me and Tommy up, and that's a good deal, man. And also, Gene, you was talking about shirts. Look at this shirt I've got on.
Look at that.
We're on here. See, this is the Fighters First. We was talking about that deal, and man, they make great shirts, and I've got to get Tommy hooked up with them. The guy told me he wanted to do business with Tommy and everything, but man, it's really they're really a first-class operation, and it's really cool. Hey,
and according to how your debut goes Saturday, Bubba, you might be getting a shirt made.
Hey, look out. That's what I need. I need me a shirt. And I'm going to put this request in now, Doug, and see if you can float this to the Fighters First guys. When they start making these Tommy Rich shirts, I want to see a shirt with Tommy's face on that Italian flag like he used to carry around up there at ECW when he was running around as one of the FBI. So
okay.
Well, I was a Don, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Full-blooded Italian I was.
That's what I said, the FBI.
From the south side of Atlanta.
I'm still trying. If somebody's listening to this, if you do airbrushing or something, if you can make me one of those Italian flags with Tommy's face on it, I got this big wrestling room here with all this stuff. I need that in my wrestling room. So if somebody can make that happen, I'll be glad to buy one off of you. So keep that in mind, and I bet Tommy wouldn't mind having one either. So we'll see if we can't find somebody to do that for us, Tommy. But
that's a good plug. I like that.
Hey, I have a decent idea every now and again.
That is a good idea.
But yeah, that's a sharp looking shirt right there, Doug. And man, there's a sharp one with Eddie on it, and then
my dad
and Dark Patriot. So
that's really cool and everything. But Gene, now we got to remember tomorrow night, everybody come out to Shawneetown, Illinois, and see Tommy. Tommy has talked me into letting him handle business in a cage match. So everybody come out to Shawneetown. And Man, it's going to be actually, I said tomorrow night. It's not going to be Friday night. It's going to be Saturday night, right, Tommy?
Saturday night, yes, sir. Big cage match. I want to thank Dougie, Herb Simmons, and most of all the wrestling fans. You know, that's a great place. It all started. You know, last time I was in Shawtytown, I wrestled that Attila, and we fought outside the ring, outside the building, in the middle of the street, fought back in, and you know, everybody was getting out of the way. But this time it comes down to man to man. The manager can't get in, he can't start no trouble, and it's gonna be me and Attila face to face, and we'll see. You know, he tries to scare you, but he just don't understand that. You know, we created the doggone cage matches and stuff. I mean, Buzz Sawyer, myself, the last Battle of Atlanta, you know, that's where WWE come up with the Hell in the Cell deal, you know.
That's
So
right.
I'm not no stranger to no cage match either.
Yeah,
Nope.
and before that, Tommy, there was tons of cage matches here in Memphis, right? That you was
Yes, sir. You was in a few. Yes, sir, we
in.
were.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well.
you know, he's intimidated the folks up there, Herb Simmons and some of the boys up there. I think he's got them scared. We'll find out how tough he is in Shawtytown. And hey, then man, what a Sunday SICW, man, they come together with the racetrack there, and they're doing the Indy 500 Barbado, or I can't say it right, but it's Indy 500. And we'll be there. They're gonna have 2 live shows before the race starts. So I'm gonna be on the show, but then I'm gonna try to talk them in and get them to let me drive a lap.
Well, hey, I'm sure they'll do that, Tommy.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody,
You being facetious, wasn't you?
everybody say a prayer for Tommy that he gets behind the wheel of that race car. I don't know. He might be better off sticking to cage matches with a telecon.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. You know, I think wrestling fans are some of the greatest, rowdiest folks. But hey, when I lived in Atlanta, I lived out in Hampton, where the Atlanta racetrack. Them racing fans, they about as rowdy as the wrestling fans and love the sport. So I can't wait to get them together, because that's gonna be all my rowdy friends there.
You know what, Gene? I think Tommy would do great on the racetrack. It's just them ramps getting on and off the interstate that he had problems with.
That's true.
Hey,
Keep him in that circle, he'll do all right.
hey, it's close as I get to making one lap would be me running around that track, and I can't imagine me making it all the way around. So I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I'm gonna pull for it.
Y'all get out there and check that out. That's going to be a good time. Big weekend this weekend.
Yeah, man, it's a big weekend, and y'all get up there and see Tommy and SICW and the racing and all that. Y'all have a big time. Get up there and see them.
And if you're not up that way, if you're in Tennessee, if you're anywhere near Jackson, Saturday night, come out to Hub City Brewery and check out the comedy show down there.
You gotta come out and support our man Gene here, and everybody tells me he's super funny and everything, and I mean, I think it'd be a great show. Everybody come out and support all the comedians, and I mean, I love everybody needs to laugh more. I mean, everybody's so freaking serious and mad and everything. I mean, I think everybody needs to laugh more. Everybody come out and support Gene, and like I said, I just want everybody to be happy and not mad.
Absolutely. That's going to be the plan for Saturday night. What else you guys got coming up before we move on past?
Well, next weekend on the 12th and 13th, I'm going to be up there in Kentucky for Wildfire Championship Wrestling. We're going to be in Grethel, Kentucky, and at the Sambo Elementary. And that's a cool one, because their archery team is going to Daytona in the finals, man. I told them the other day, I said, if I'd have been an Indian, I'd have starved to death, because I couldn't hit nothing with no arrow. And they're going to the finals in Daytona Beach. So it's a big thing, and it's a fundraiser to help these guys out. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Awesome.
Well, that's cool. And Gene, I've got July the 18th, Ashland City, Tennessee. That will be myself, the Road Dog will be up there, and that's for a good cause and everything, and a recovery cause and everything. And then August the 7th, the Memphis Mafia will be back together in Ripley, Tennessee. August the 8th, the Memphis Mafia will be back together at a horror con in Paragould, Arkansas. And man, that's going to be a great time, right, Tommy? Those 2 nights.
You ain't kidding. Of course, I'm always fired up to get to come back to Memphis, get to travel with my brother, and hey, just get to see, and that's where we all started, was right there in Memphis, and all the fans from around Memphis, they always come, to the Coliseum on Monday, and we'd hit some of them shows, so it's always good to come back home where your roots are.
And then August 28th, Gene, will be around Memphis doing a signing. I'm not sure where yet, but me and Tommy will be there. Then August the 29th, Marion, Arkansas, for the first annual Sid Vicious Memorial Show. And man, that's going to be really cool and everything. Me and Tommy can't wait to do that. And then September the 30th, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Myself and the King will be there in Lawrenceburg at a fair, signing and stuff. And that'll be real cool. And then October the 31st, I will be in Pulaski at the Kayfabe Cave doing some signings and stuff. And man, but still people are calling, and I know you're talking to people, Gene. Me and Tommy's got dates that we have got open that we can fill in. And if anybody wants to do anything, give Gene a shout, or myself. And like I've told you before, on X, Real Doug Gilbert, on Instagram, Real Doug Gilbert, on Facebook, Dangerous Doug Gilbert, and everything. But you can get a hold of me and Tommy on Facebook, or you can get a hold of Gene, and it's no problem to get us and everything, man. We, like I said, you can ask us anything, or Tommy, there's not anything. Ain't no holds back for us, is it?
No, I ain't never been, so ain't no use in starting now. I mean, you always said what you think, and I pretty much said the same thing. So, yeah, if you got a question, just send it to Gene, and we'd be glad to answer.
Now, Gene, you just heard him say that, but then there's been a time or two that I've said some stuff, and he's looked at me like I was crazy, right?
Well,
yeah, every now and again, he'll say, "Well, wait a minute, we're not gonna answer that one, are we, Doug?" And you're like, "Yes, sir, we're gonna answer this."
Well, it ain't so much answering that. Well, that might be true, but I'm talking about on TV.
He's talking about. You remember that cartoon where when they started acting up, they'd stick the long cane with the handle on it and yank them off the stage. He's been on a couple of them live ones that they probably done that.
Yeah,
that's true.
I thought he was going to slap me on the head a couple mornings at Memphis TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we may talk about a couple of those one of these days for too much longer, but that's not in this round of questions this week, but we do have some good ones here. So let's get going on a few of these. Roger Hall asks, looking back on your careers, what was the toughest aspect of the wrestling business? Was it the traveling, the bumps, being away from your family, or having to maintain your character at all times back in the kayfabe days?
Well, I'll answer that first, because my toughest time was, and this was before I got married, was having to fight the girls off. No, shoot, it was a grind. I mean, you figure, like you take a truck driver, for instance, he might drive 200-300 miles, but he pulls up, gets in that back of the cab, take a nap while they unload the truck. Where we do 200-300 miles, get out and wrestle, and then have to drive back, get up the next morning, and go the opposite way. So, it was a grind, but we didn't think about it. I mean, we loved what we was doing, and I mean, but looking back on it, I mean, if there was anything, it was, there was just that grind there for me. I mean,
And Gene, I would say to that question, being on the road 7 days a week, which don't get me wrong, I'm not griping about it. Like Tommy said, we knew what we was getting into. Being on the road 7 days a week and away from your family, like Tommy said, I mean, after Tommy got married and everything, I mean, being away from his wife and kids and everything, but I mean, just being on the road 7 days a week and the wear and tear and everything. But I mean, we knew what was getting into. I'm not saying that was bad, but just this
and
question.
That was, and Doug is right. I was talking about before I got married, but yeah, after I got married, I had 3 daughters, and Terry Lynn, she was like the mama and the daddy, because we'd be gone all the time, So I missed a lot of, they played softball, took ballet, and that was a thrill for me just to get to go see them. That, and you miss a whole lot of that, being on the road stuff.
But one thing, Gene, I got Tommy back home a couple of days that he wouldn't have been home if he wouldn't have been with me.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
Did you find, I mean, I know it was a grind, but even like now, do you find after doing that for so many years, when you've been home for a while, do you get that itch like, and it's about time to go get back out there on the road just because that's what you do and it's what you're used to?
Well, Terry Lynn likes to get me out of here.
Did she tell you that, Tom? It's about time you get back on that road, sir?
She said, you're not going nowhere this weekend?
Hey, well, I'm going to tell you, Gene, this was just last year. Me and Tommy did, I think it was a 6 or 7 day, wasn't it, Tommy, run all together? Yeah. And Tommy said about the third day, he said, I don't know if we could do this many weeks in a row, could we?
Yeah, y'all had some long ones last year, man. Y'all went and hit like a week at a time, and yeah, that is
and double shots in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a couple of those. Y'all were talking me y'all were hitting, Jonesboro and then hitting the car and heading on to like Memphis or vice versa.
Right.
So, yeah.
But Gene, that's cool. And that's the days that I remember and I love, and I know Tommy loves them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but like I said, it was a grind being on the road, but you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I do miss it. I still love, I mean, I still love what we do, man. I mean, I still love the fans, and still know who we are in today's world, man. That's a blessing too. So thank all you fans for sticking it out with us. Hey, I don't know when our last one's going to be, but don't miss it. Be there.
That's right. So this is interesting. Bobby Brooks asks, I grew up around Portland and only got to read about Memphis and Mid-South wrestling in magazines. As Southern wrestlers, what was the perception of the Portland territory in the 80s and early 90s? And was it a place that guys wanted to go, or was it mostly a last resort territory?
Tommy, you want to start that, or you want me to?
Hey, back in them days, I'd have loved to went to Oregon. My good buddy Roddy Piper, man, bless his heart, wish he was still with us, but he said they had some of the best smoke up there you ever seen. Yeah, and he would know because I did a couple weeks. But we got lost one day. About but I never had the opportunity to really go. I mean, everybody went. They loved it. I mean, said it was short trips. It's home every night. I mean, so that sounded like my kind of place,
But I heard on one of the podcasts where somebody sent me something that the Undertaker got Tommy booked in Portland, right?
I got fired before I ever went.
but here's the thing, Gene, about that question is I always heard it was so rainy, which I went up there like on an independent deal one time with me and Dennis Condrey and Paul Heyman and everything, and it was cold, I guess, at the time of year we went. Oh, it was freaking so cold that, I mean, like the inside of the windshield froze or something. I ain't never seen that. I mean, it was just crazy and everything. But I'd always heard the stories about it raining so much, and people didn't want to go up there because of the rain. But, I mean, I always heard good stories about the Portland territory and everything, but it was just so far away from here and everything. So I never thought.
And they had some good talent come through there now too. I mean, they good boys that run through there.
Yeah, and but anything. And what was the question, Gene, as far as about the Portland territory?
Just kind of what people's perception of it was. Like, were there guys who wanted to go up there, or was it kind of like, I don't know, man. I've been everywhere. I got to go to Portland now, I guess.
And here's the thing: it wasn't so much the perception. I mean, we didn't know then how big a deal it was as far as in Portland or in Memphis or anywhere in Texas, anywhere you was at, you didn't know how big of a deal it really was, that people would be watching you on YouTube 30 years later, 35 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You didn't know. I mean, Tommy, you wouldn't have ever thought that, would you?
Shoot, no. I wish we'd known back then what we know now. We'd retired on selling gimmicks now.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. Shoot, I mean, we did. You didn't even think about selling pictures and merchandise and stuff, And then it started a little bit, and then it took off. I mean,
And here's the kicker, Gene. What most people don't realize is there's other people out there that sells a ton of stuff of Tommy and myself, and and they get all that money. I mean, you know what I'm saying? In the real world and everything, if things was right, you know, I mean, the merchandise and stuff would go to the guys that, to me, what I think anyway, that busted their butt and worked hard every night for their name.
Yeah. And, you know, there were guys talking about Portland, you know, there were guys from down here, you know, like, you know, Mike Miller and Lynn Denton and guys like that who went up there and had real good, you know, made a good living up there, you know, and spent a lot of time up there. So,
yeah. And that's two great guys that you were talking about, Gene. I loved Mike. I traveled a lot with Mike, and I really liked Lynn. I wasn't around him very much, but I mean, he was always real cool to me when I was a young kid.
Lynn was cool. He was in it. He came to Atlanta. Wrestled there for a while as the grappler. He was a real nice fella too. Just go out and do something to help you out.
Yeah, and Mike, he worked here in the territory with me, Gene, here in the Memphis territory. He was a really cool guy.
Yeah, we had Lynn on the show one time, and he was a really fun interview. And I'm hoping maybe one of these days, maybe we can track Mike Miller down and get him on here and talk to him. I think.
Well, hey, you're gonna laugh. You're going to laugh, but I think you and Tommy both were like this. Danny Davis just sent me a text the other day, and I told him we was going to get him on here, and he said anytime we wanted him on here, he'd come on here with us. So.
Oh, man, that'd be great. That'd be great. I'd love to have him on here.
Better known as a nightmare.
That's right. We've been watching a lot in 91. We've been watching a lot of Danny Davis on there. That him and Dundee had a really good feud. We just finished watching there. I'd like to talk to him about that.
Me and my cousin Johnny, we had a real good run.
Oh man,
yes. Too. Yeah, I mean they were heck of workers too.
Yes, sure I would love to get y'all together to talk about that, because me and Rob's watching that over on the Continental show that we do, and we've been just coming out sort of the other side of it. Well, actually, they just. Johnny, so all right, this isn't one of the questions somebody sent in, but this just came up on the show. There was something happened to Johnny outside the ring, like he got stabbed or something in a bar. Is that right? Somebody heard that in the interview with Danny. But y'all were baby faces. Like, what happened? Like, how did Johnny get stabbed in a bar?
We went to a bar there in Montgomery, Alabama, which was a wrong choice anyway. All them old redneck fellas. But they was having a union. There was a union or something anyway. We got in a little tussle, and they ended up they stabbed him.
Dang, Tommy, y'all was really over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we that's somebody else I'd love for us to get on here and talk to as well. Get Johnny on here. If we get Johnny and Danny both on here, we might have another feud breakout or something.
And you know what's really cool, Gene, was when I was talking to Danny, I was thinking about the me and Ken working against him and Jerry Stubbs. That was kind of a cool deal down there in Continental also.
Yeah, that was a lot of people forget about the new nightmares there for a little bit with Ken Wayne and Freddie.
There you go.
We'll talk more about that one day as well. So someone who identifies as Stinger Splash 99 asks, you guys touched on this briefly last week, but many people feel that Eddie's matches with Cactus Jack and TWA in the early 90s helped change the entire direction of independent wrestling and led to the ECW style that swept the Northeast and spread around the world. Did Eddie enjoy those matches with Cactus, and did he realize how groundbreaking they were at the time and how they changed the course of Mick Foley's entire career?
Man, Eddie enjoyed the matches with Cactus and knew they were changing from traditional style because Eddie wanted to push the limits. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to push the limits and everything. And I think he knew it would catapult Cactus, and that's one of the reasons why he did it, which don't get me wrong. I mean, he always wanted to help himself also, but I think he knew it would catapult Cactus, and he really liked Cactus and everything, and everything. But I mean, like I said, he knew it wasn't traditional style, but everybody started doing that. But I mean, that's what he'd been doing down here, and the guys before him had been doing down here in Memphis for umpteen years, and it was like it was new up north.
And he pushed it to a little further limit up there too. I mean, but Eddie was ahead of his time too. I mean, he, like I said, I mean, he was smart to the booking end and a heck of a wrestler too. I mean, but you know, he just loved, you know, like after a match, we might talk about what we did if it something screwed up, but you know, we might talk a little ahead, but Eddie didn't have every match figured out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, he lived and ate it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, when I read that question when they sent it in, I thought, well, I know we've talked about it before that it was groundbreaking, especially for up there, but it was Eddie taking something that he had done here for a long time and put it in front of a new audience and more exposure because you had all the magazine coverage up there and
Right.
all that more so than you did here a lot of times. So
and they up north, they some extreme people, and he showed them some extreme too.
Yeah.
yeah, those
Yeah.
Philadelphia
Yeah.
fans or something.
If you
And
wasn't
like I said-
bleeding up there, they booing you, you know. Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
that,
you know, it was a different world, but yeah, he changed. I mean, he changed it all.
and Gene, they loved it. Like he took a quart beer bottle out of a garbage can one night. He hit Cactus with the garbage can and everything. And he reached in there and there was a quart beer bottle and he just freaking busted it over his head and everything. And I mean, them people you'd have thought is like Evil Knievel jumping the Grand Canyon.
We have another question here in a minute that kind of touches on the Philadelphia fan base again as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. Melvin Lopez asks, and I guess this is more directed towards Doug because I don't know how much Tommy went here, but we'll see. How were the fans in Texas compared to the Memphis fans, and what do you remember most about the Sportatorium?
Now, Texas fans, which don't get me wrong, Memphis fans was rowdy. The Texas fans were like a different type rowdy also. And I mean, you know, they'd get their beer in them and get 10-foot tall and bulletproof, they thought, and everything. And I mean, the Sportatorium, as far as the Texas fans, to me, was similar to Memphis, but it seemed like the Texas fans would get a little more maybe intoxicated or something. But then, like you asked about the Sportatorium, right?
Right.
The Sportatorium was a historical venue to work in, and I mean, it was a good atmosphere, but oh my gosh, the ring was the worst ring about that I've ever worked in. And they told me one night, they said, come down here, I want to show you what you're working in. And it was like tables put together, Gene, with wood over it. I've never seen nothing in my life like that. But it just, when you hit it, you just stop. Like I did a leg drop off the top one night, and when I hit, my hip kind of went out. And I thought, oh my gosh, I will never do anything like this in this ring again. But it was something. But you know, just as far as the historical value, as far as, you know, places like to me and Tommy, the Mid-South Coliseum is a great building, and it always will be. But to the guys in Dallas and I mean in Texas and everything that worked there a lot, the Sportatorium was to them like the Mid-South Coliseum is to us down here.
Right.
And everything.
Hey, did you tell you, hey, I'm gonna stir a little stir up right now. You know, I mean, Jerry Briscoe tell you about them Cowboys, you know, how tough they are, because, you know, him and JBL got that show together. They always interacted. JBL knock at Oklahoma and he'll knock at Texas. So they always stir it.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember if it was you that said it, Doug, but somebody had told me about those tables being under the ring and said once you realize that wooden floor they had, that you really was better off bumping on the wooden floor than you were in the ring, that it was more solid taking a bump in the ring with those tables under there than it was if you just landed on the floor there. Is that
oh my gosh, like I said, I think I was working with Dale Wilkes, the Patriot, the time I'm talking about when I done the leg drop off the top, and I thought, what am I thinking? When I hit and, you know, your hip goes out and then you got to get up and work the rest of the match and everything. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my hip. And I'm trying to, you know, get like everything back in place and everything. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is, but it was just, I'd heard all the stories about the Sportatorium and everything. Yeah. And that was, GWF was the first time I'd been out there and everything. So it was really cool to me for the experience to get to go out there and work in the building and everything.
Yeah, a lot of history in that building. I wrestled out there one time. I went out there for 3 or 4 days, I think, and we finished up at the Sportatorium. It was, just the old wrestling building, but them people, but it was a good place to have it too. But I had a good time. It was fun.
To me, Gene, it was like the old Jonesboro building, the old Tupelo building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me and Tommy, as far as that's what it would remind us of, because the history and everything of the building and everything. But Tommy, so you went out there for Fritz for 3 or 4 days?
Yeah. That's been many moons ago.
I wondered if you ever made it. I knew you weren't ever out there for an extended period of time, but I figured you had to have ended up out there at least a couple of times. So I
wrestled for Joe Blanchard out there at San Antonio. I really love that San Antonio, man. That's a beautiful place. The river right down the middle of the city. Wahoo was doing the booking out there, and I went up there, and I was up there for about 3 or 4 days then too.
He didn't he fly Terry out there with you, Tommy?
Yeah. That's the time that I'd hurt my knee, and he just started booking out there. And I guess he tried to impress Joe. And anyway, I told him my knee. I wrestled Bob back on Monday night in Augusta, and hyperextended my knee and was on crutches. He told me to come on, and that's when he broke that big old horse pill in 4 pieces. He didn't tell me it was a horse pill, though. And I took that. The real DMSO they used to put on them race horses, you taste in your mouth. He give me something. He said, "You gonna taste it?" I thought he done lost his mind. As soon as he put it on, I could taste it. I'm like, yeah.
That's what gets in your blood. Like, I used to rub that on me in different places, and then I got to reading it. It says, "Do not touch with your skin. Do not touch the human." I thought, oh my gosh.
That's not good. And you worked out in Houston some too, didn't you, Tommy?
Yeah, I worked a few times for Paul Bosch out there, man. What a great man he was too. I wasn't around him a lot, but but Tom, he just was a very, very nice man, and treated the boys real good.
That's cool.
And you know what, Gene? I worked out there in Houston twice. It was when in '88, wasn't that when '88 when Crockett bought out Watts?
Yeah,
and that they had one of the was it Great American Bash thing where Dusty had singers come on the thing.
Yeah,
like you'd have wrestling. I worked out there twice, one on that show and one on another show for Bill. But man, Houston was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, that was a big one of the main big hubs of wrestling back in the day. And a lot of those matches have surfaced in the last few years. You can find a lot of those online now. And that's how I knew Tommy had been out there. I'd seen some of those matches.
And you know what? I saw a cool match the other day on somebody had sent it to me, but it was a Lawler of all things in Houston against the Masked Superstar. And this was like in the early days,
I've seen that. Yeah, it feels kind of weird when it first comes on the screen. You're like, is that Lawler? And
yeah,
is that actually Bill Eadie, or is this one of these? Because you never know when you first see a Masked Superstar come on the screen, you never know for sure at first.
But it was Bill Eadie. Yeah, it was Bill Eadie and Lawler. But I thought that was cool too.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize how often Lawler did get out of Memphis and do some stuff like that. I mean, he spent most of his time there, but he did make his way out to most of the other territories, at least briefly, anyway.
Right.
Philip Leonard asks, I've been listening to a lot of podcast and shoot interviews with Memphis legends in recent months. Many of them have fun stories about working spot shows for Buddy Wayne back in the day. Does Doug or Tommy have any Buddy Wayne stories?
Tommy, what'd you call it?
I got a good one. Hog jaws. Hog jaws. Hog jaws. But yeah, he told Dougie, Dougie didn't dress like no bum, but he told him, he said, "You need to dress like a professional, boy," or something. Remember Dougie? What was he? But he told everybody that. I think he told me that one day too, but it's better when I say he told Dougie.
I think he actually told me and Tommy at the same time. Tommy just put it off on me.
Tommy just heard Doug. He didn't hear the other.
Yeah, but here's a good story, Gene. Me and Eddie was going to, of all places, Brownsville, Tennessee, and it was Eddie against Lawler last, and me against somebody like second. And we got there, and it started like at 7:30, and we got there at 7:00, 10 after, something like that. So we walked in, and I start getting dressed, and I then got my everything on, my boots about 3/4 laced up, and he walks up there to me and said, what are you getting dressed for, son? And I said, well, buddy, I'm on second. And he said, well, you didn't get here till 10 after 7. And I said, well, what? You know, I mean, it don't start till 7:30. He said, well, you ain't working tonight. I said, okay. And so I started unlacing my boots and everything. And Eddie's over there, like the dressing rooms are combined, but like they're over there and they couldn't none of them hear it. So he come over there and he looked at me and he said, what are you doing? I said, well, Buddy Wayne just told me that I wasn't working tonight, that me and you got here too late. And he said, do what? I said, yeah. I said, and I said, that's cool. I said, but can I have the keys? And will you just ride back with Lawler when y'all get done? And he said, are you serious? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, no, I ain't riding back with anybody. And I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, if you want to get back dressed, he said, I can tell him. I said, no, that's all right. I said, he's done told me. And I said, but can I have the keys and you just catch a ride with Lawler or somebody back? And he said, well, no. He said, if you ain't working, I ain't working. And so we walk out of the dressing room. The first match has started. We walk up kind of by the ring, and the funniest thing, Jamie Dundee's in the ring, and he's looking like, what's going on? And I wave at him, and we walk through the building, and there's a big door, you know, and all the National Guard armories that raises up, and he's got his concession stand sitting there. And this wasn't a good thing I did or anything, but he had popcorn, like 100 bags and things that he's going to sell. And he always put so much salt on it where people would have to buy more drinks, right? Well, I picked that table up like with my edge of my hands like that, and I just flipped that table over a little bit, and he walked out the door. And you talking about the funniest thing. We got back to Memphis, and it wasn't 30 minutes after we got back to Memphis that Lawler called and said, why did y'all leave? And Eddie said, well, Buddy Wayne told Doug since we got there at 7:00 or 10 after it, he couldn't work. He said, Doug can't work. I'm not going to work.
And Lawler probably didn't get there at about 8:39.
It's like Lawler wasn't there yet, so I didn't know what happened.
I guarantee you, Buddy Wayne didn't say nothing to him.
Yeah, Lawler wasn't there when we left. So I mean, that tells that. But anyway, but Lawler told Eddie, he said, you know, all y'all had to do was wait till I got there. And he said, well, Doug said, heck with it. He didn't tell him he couldn't work, so he was leaving. He said, I ain't going to my brother not work and me work. And Lawler said, well, the main thing, said, y'all are going to come to TV in the morning, right? And Eddie said, yeah. I said, this is with Buddy Wayne. It ain't with you. It's with Buddy Wayne. Said, but if anybody tells my brother that, I'm not working either. But Lawler was really cool and said, y'all should have just stayed, though, and, you know, I would have took care of it, which, I mean, but that shows, I mean, he wasn't even there at that time.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting story. And also, I've got another funny story. Buddy come to me one night, and he said, Doug, you mind working in a warm-up match? And, Gene, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't heard of a warm-up match before. Had you ever heard that, Tommy, like in the old days?
Well, I heard stories about it. I don't know if I was there in them olden days.
Well, but I mean,
in Tupelo, Mississippi. I mean, in Tupelo, man. I don't know that they called it a warm-up match, but they wouldn't have. But like, say me and Doug's in a tag match in the main event against PG-13. What you'd work you'd work 2 singles, then they'd have a match, and then you come back in the main event in the tag.
Right. But here's the thing. What Buddy said to me about this story, and what was so funny was he said, "I want before the show starts. I got the show lined up. But I want a warm up match on before, which you know I was like 3rd or 4th that night, but he wanted me to wrestle before, like the card, and me and Brian to be in a singles match. And so he asked me that, and I said, "Oh, that's fine." So he goes over to Brian and tells Brian that, and Brian says, "I can't do it." And Buddy said, "Oh boy, what do you mean you can't do it?" Brian said, I worked my legs today, and I can't work twice tonight." And so he comes back over there to me, and he said, when Jerry gets here, I'm going to tell him I don't know what's wrong with his boy. I said he needs to work. But what wound up happening, he wound up getting Tony Williams, Brian's partner, to work against me in that warm-up match. I laughed, but I'd never heard of a warm-up match, Gene, before. You done got the card, and then you're going to have a warm-up match. But that's just –
Well, I guarantee you what happened on that deal. Buddy Wayne knew you still owed him a match for leaving.
Getting that match. He was probably more hot about the popcorn than anything, wasn't he? If I had to guess.
That's what I thought.
You know he would have paid you twice for wrestling, just like Eddie Marlin did me that night. Y'all did that U-turn in the road, and I wrestled about 4 times.
But the funny thing, he said, "I'm going to tell his daddy." And I thought, you think y'all are going to give a crap about what you
I knew when I saw that question, I was like, I can't wait for this one. I was like, there's bound to be a good Buddy Wayne story to be told. So that did not disappoint.
Hey, listen, this is another funny one, which I know we got to get on. But
no, that's fine.
But Buddy Wayne told me and Eddie, or he actually didn't tell me and Eddie, but he was saying to us about the other guys, look at them guys wearing shorts and tank tops and everything. So me and Eddie went to one of the spot shows one night, and we had on Zubaz, and Eddie had on shorts. I had on Zubaz, and I noticed when we left the house, he put a sport coat hung it up in the back, in the hanger. And when we got to the building, we got out, we got our bags. He said, "Hold on, I got to put this on." I said, "What?" He grabbed that sport coat, and he put that sport coat on, and I laughed because I knew what he was doing. Buddy Wayne had said that, but he had on shorts, but he got a sport coat. He put that sport coat on and walked in there. Me and him walked in. I was laughing. We was actually both. Eddie was trying not to laugh. I couldn't keep from laughing. Buddy Wayne looked at him with that sport coat on and smiled, and then looked down and seen his shorts. Made the awfulest face, but it's
And Buddy Wayne, he always dressed, he had his polyester pants and polyester shirt on, but when you got 5 or 6 stains on stuff, you ain't really that dressed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember going to shows when I was younger, and I don't remember him being dressed to the nines walking around there.
Big sweat under his, yeah.
Exactly.
Very classy.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, bless his heart.
Oh, man. All right. So here we go. Thomas Andrews asks, Doug, I'm new to podcasts, and I see where Gene Jackson is starting a new ECW podcast soon. I know you were there with Eddie when he took over the book in ECW in 1993, and you were part of that great angle with Terry Funk. Can you share some memories or stories of Terry Funk? I'd love to hear Tommy's memories of working with Terry as well. I know they had a great match in Philly when Tommy came into ECW in the late 90s.
Man, Gene, I'm going to be honest with you. In the States, when you travel with people, you get to know them. And like me and Tommy said, when you like people and everything, you know who you want to travel with and everything. And, everybody's perceptions, we all like one another, which, in a perfect world we would, but I don't want to lie to anybody. There's some of us that got along a world better, and some guys we wouldn't want to be in the car with us. But Terry, I got to know him real well here in the States, but in Japan, when like me and him would be over there together, and you'd be over there for 3 weeks, a month at a time, and I'd get to hear all of his philosophy and everything. Man, I'd love, like, our families was really tight. My dad and Dory was like best friends, and Terry always was really good. Him and my brother was good friends, and he was really cool with me and everything. And I don't know if you know this or not, Gene, but the last 2 matches that Terry had I was in those 2 matches. And it was in the Carolinas, and one of the funniest things, and to y'all, Tommy was there at those two matches. He worked against somebody at them, and but Terry said what he was wanting the announcers to announce them as it was a 6-man tag. It was myself, the King, and Brian against the Rock and Roll Express and Terry Funk for 2 nights. That was his last 2 matches that he had, and what he was wanting when we was coming to the ring, what he was wanting the guy to say was he was wanting him to say the Rock and Funk and Roll Express. And so he's telling this guy that, and when he's telling him, the guy's just kind of shaking his head, and Terry starts cussing him, and because the guy ain't saying nothing, and then he said, "Go get the promoter," and the guy just stood there, and he looked at Lawler, and he said, "Who's the promoter?" And Lawler pointed at the guy that he's just been cussing. and that guy is scared to death. I mean, he's just standing there like he's froze. You talking about one of the funniest things. And all of us are there, and we die laughing. He said, Sonny, I'm sorry. but he's done cussed him, and you talking about funny. But just if you got to know him very well, like I said, in Japan, I got to know him, so much better than as far as, we just hung out and everything. It was cool. And like I said, he was just a great guy. That's about what you could say in Tommy. I mean, Tommy was around him a lot too. And I mean,
when he come into Atlanta, we'd always go out and have a few beers, and I got to know him. But I don't think I knew him quite as good as Dougie did, because Dougie and him was real close. But I mean, we got along real good. But that night I wrestled him in ECW up there, I thought I owed some bitch some money, boy.
Well, I mean, hey,
but that's the way he worked, though. I mean, that was just it. I mean, all them older guys. I mean, it's a little more than solid, but they loved it, But we had a heck of it. Was a real good match. But boy, I thought, dang, man, I'm glad you like me.
Well, that's what I told Tommy Gene, that I worked against Terry probably a dozen times, or maybe a few more than that or something. But no kidding, I've been in easier fights. I mean, real fights. I've been in easier fights with people than those wrestling matches.
And you have to wonder, like, he liked you guys. So what was it like for people he didn't like? It had to be a rough night,
Oh yeah, I've seen guys that just didn't even. I'd laugh because they didn't even want to wrestle.
And I'm sure there's been a couple of times that they looked around, the guy he's supposed to wrestle was gone too.
Yeah, I bet.
You dang right.
That match you were talking about in Philadelphia, Tommy, it's on the Facebook page, and I haven't looked recently, but the last time I looked at it, I mean, it was creeping up on 500,000 views. Like,
is that right?
It's been watched almost over 400,000 times the last time I looked. So that's pretty incredible. And I know, Doug, I've intended for us to do like a Terry Funk episode at some point, or maybe it's the Funk family in general. And I know at one point you had sent me some messages from Terry Funk that we're going to play sometime. And I know he sent a really nice recording for the Hall of Fame. When you guys went in, it was really cool. But we'll check those out sometime, and you could just hear in his voice and those, the affection that he has for you and your family and your dad and brother and everything. And we'll definitely have to check those out sometime. That's really cool that you have those.
Yeah, that's neat. Like I said, Terry was a one of a kind character, but man, he was so smart. And you know what? I think he was, like we say, my brother was ahead of his time. I think Terry was ahead of his time also when he come up with this stuff. Because everything, I don't know if y'all seen this deal. Have you ever seen the promo where he pours oil on his head when he's
yes.
that's
Dusty.
Have you ever seen that, Tommy?
He
pours oil, like a quart of oil on his head, and it's going in his mouth and everything. I think that's when he's working with Dusty, ain't it?
In Florida. Yes.
And oh man, it's some of the coolest. That's what I'm saying. He was ahead of his. I mean, Terry was all of it wrapped up.
And that feud with him and Eddie was so good in ECW.
Oh yeah. What about the promo with him with the horse, Gene? Remember you say that? Tommy, he raised the tail of the horse up, and the horse would fart. And he said,
"What did you say, Eddie?"
He said, "Hey, Eddie," and the horse would fart.
And he had him put it on. So, like they hit him on the screen. It says Terry Funk. You know, they had the little chyron up there, and then the camera pans over to the horse's ass, and it says Eddie Gilbert. Like it's like he's standing there, and Funk starts talking to it like he's Eddie. And then the next week, he runs over Eddie's brother with a tractor out there on his farm, out there, and it was a dummy out there. But yeah, there was so much good stuff in that feud there, and what a way to kick off ECW with Eddie Gilbert and Terry Funk, because they were wrestling each other all over the place right then. That was like the hottest feud in independent wrestling at that time. And
hey, it was really cool. That's really cool times.
Absolutely. So this guy's sent questions a couple of times. This name I always recognize the name. Scuba Steve 78 asks, everyone knows about Eddie's famous booking stint in Continental in 1988 when the Fullers sold the promotion to TV station owner David Woods. But did Eddie get along with Robert and Ron Fuller? How did the Fullers booking philosophies differ? Let me read that again. How did the Fuller's booking philosophies differ from Eddie's, and could they have worked well together?
Yeah, I think more Ron than Robert, and I don't mean that negative on Robert, but Ron was a guy that thought things through like Eddie did, as far as like weeks and months ahead. Yes. And like I said, and I like Robert fine also, but Robert didn't. He was a little different than Ron was, which Tommy knows them both well, so he can tell you this. But in my opinion, I think Eddie. I mean, he got along with both of them fine, but I think as far as working well, as far as like thinking and angles and stuff, Ron would have been more Eddie's speed. And but they wasn't around each other a lot. That was the thing. Right. But Eddie could have worked, like I said, better with Ron. But Eddie's booking style was more cutting edge, where theirs was more temporary, kind of old school, right? That type.
Well, yeah. and that Robert, I mean, I got along with him, but I mean, he come in, he'd hot shot it too. I mean, it would be just some shit like boom, 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 it's over. Like, back then you'd go 6-8 weeks with an angle, and his would run, a little shorter. Anyway, Robert come in, was doing the booking for Jerry, and I would ride with him, Bully Bob Armstrong, and Rip Smith was his name. He just broke into the business, and he was from Florida, tough guy. And we would ride together, and we'd have the little maracas and tambourine, and they'd sing and everything. And we might smoke a little weed every now and then. Jerry didn't like that at all. And anyway, I guess he got on Robert's butt one day about it. He said, "Oh, you think I'm the only one that smokes it?" He said, "You good two shoes boy, Tommy Rich, he smokes it." And I wasn't even smoking around the business, so I met them. I might, after I got home or something, I might puff on one. Yeah, he stewed me right out.
I mean, nothing against Robert, but let's be honest. I mean, when you go back and look at history, most of his booking stints ended with the territory on its ass, and somebody had to come in and try to pick things up most of the time. Well, that's just how it happened,
Seriously, I mean, and I'm not saying Robert. I mean, like I said, he'd come in, he'd get it going, but for a bit, but it wasn't no longevity to it. And Ron was a businessman that he knew what needed to be done.
Yeah, and like I said, Ron not only wrestling, but Ron started hockey teams and so on. Ron is a really smart fella, and but he thought wrestling like I've told you about Eddie thinking months ahead, in which, at times people would leave and you'd have to change stuff. But I mean, Eddie thought like the kind of Jerry Jarrett longevity of it, we want to lay a program out for, like Tommy said, 6 or 8 weeks. My brother want to do it for like 8 to 12 weeks or something, and keep everybody, everybody angled up where, I mean, you could draw money from starting to the finish. I mean, your first match might not be an angle, but Eddie would like from second or third match on to the last match, everybody would kind of be in an angle where you got something to, you got your segments on TV for people to follow.
Yeah. And too, I mean, and that was smart thinking too, because like Dougie said earlier, I mean, I mean, they laid out 6 to 8 weeks. Well, 6 to 8 weeks, in about 4 weeks, they might get in a fuss with, whoever,
right,
take off and leave. Where if you got 3 or 4 different angles going on, then you got something to fall back on. I think that's what Eddie was really good at that too. He I mean, and that was the longevity of it. I mean, and because and you didn't mind if you went down to the semi or the match before that, because we was drawing money with it. Where and like Robert Fuller, he would just take and he'd have his little bunch, and that's what he hot shot with, and he didn't have no B plan or nothing. It was just what he had at the moment.
Right. Well, because I remember like the big concession stand brawl in Tupelo, I've always been told, was Robert Fuller had just been booking and the territory was down, and he took all his friends and left and went back to Knoxville, and that Jerry Jarrett like kind of pulled that out, like, we got to do something fast to start drawing. And they did that, the first concession stand brawl with Lawler and Dundee against the Blondes over there in Tupelo. And then that kicked things off and business was back, rolling again. But that's what set all that off, was the fact that that's how they all of a sudden, Latham and Ferris ended up in there with Lawler and Dundee's, because all of a sudden everybody was gone because Fuller had took everybody to Knoxville. So.
See, and you got to realize, Gene, that's why owners of territories, like, I mean, I know people knock it and everything, but like Jerry using Jeff was great talent and everything, but you've got to have people that you can depend on. And I mean, your family, you can't really get more as far as depending on than family or your best friends that is going to stay. And so if you put them in spots, you ain't got to worry about them leaving, like you're talking about Robert and them left.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense. Ernest Adams asked, Doug, where was your father, Tommy Gilbert's favorite venue to wrestle, and who was his all-time favorite opponent?
Man, his favorite opponent, I would have to say that I think there was quite a few, but he loved working at Story Funk Jr., and they was best friends. But, man, they had great matches. But, I mean, he also loved, like, Sputnik Monroe was one of his idol-type guys. He worked with him a few times, but I'd say his favorite, which I think he had a lot of favorites, but I would say overall his favorite was Dory Funk Jr. because he had so much respect for him, and they was friends, and with Dory being the NWA World Champion, and just the history of Dory and my dad and everything, I'd say that. And I'd say my dad loved the Mid-South Coliseum, and there was a lot of places he loved, but he also loved, and people's going to think this is strange, but like Jonesboro, the old Jonesboro building. Remember the building, Tommy, that kind of went straight up? He loved that building. He loved the building in Tupelo, the old Tupelo building. But it's buildings that people wouldn't think about. But like the Coliseum, they might. But some of those other buildings, and like when Tommy started, he went to the buildings that I'm talking about, these other two, so he could probably tell you more about just they was wrestling buildings, right, Tommy?
Yeah, and I'll tell you somebody else that I think he got along with good that didn't a lot was because everybody said he was stiff, but Lou Thez.
Lou Thez. Yeah,
Lou Thez, man, because like I said, I was still a kid and went out there. When I seen that match, whether in my mind I was thinking it was real or not, I left knowing it was real. They made you believe. That's for dang sure.
And Tommy's exactly right. Lou Thez, that would have been another one. I mean, my dad had so much respect for him, and everything that I mean, he really loved working with him. Like I said, I think he worked with Dory more, and like I said, they was friends, and he had a ton of respect for Dory, and I think Dory had a ton of respect for him, and like Dory brought my dad, I think, to Amarillo to be his assistant booker one time, and my dad went to Puerto Rico and he was the booker, and I think Dory got him that job. But they was, good friends, and my dad loved to work with Dory. But like Tommy said, Luthez, he loved Luthez also.
Man, I wish there was some video of some of those matches your dad had with Luthez, because if you look on our Facebook page, a lot of people have sent in different posters and flyers and things, and we've literally got over 1,000 or more on there now. And you see a lot of those flyers in a lot of different places where your dad was working with Luthez. And I know we've talked about in the past where a lot of people weren't jumping up and down, hey, let me wrestle Luthez.
Yeah,
they couldn't hang.
Yeah, Tommy loved, wrestling. I mean,
I think I've seen a match from Nashville with my dad and Luthez, Gene. I'll try to find it.
Yeah, if you come across that, let me know. We'll throw that on the Facebook, because I know a lot of people would love to see that. We're almost out of time. I think this one will be kind of quick. The Savannah Spoiler asks, Tommy, when Kevin Von Erich came to Georgia in 1981, how did he get over with the Georgia fans on the house shows? And what kind of guy was he to the other wrestlers? Did you get along with him?
Kerry was cool. I mean, back then there was a lot of extracurricular activity going on. So, sometimes he might be this guy, sometimes he might be that guy. But but he, as far as everything, he was cool. They all come. David came into the territory, and I was around him some. Went to Japan with him, and then excuse me. And then Kevin come in for a little bit. But Kerry was funny. He told me, he said, we've been talking. He said, they're going to put the world tag team titles on us. And I ain't never heard that from nobody then since. He come in with some kind of concoction, some kind of story all the time. But yeah, he was cool. I enjoyed being around him.
That's cool.
Just had to make sure he didn't put nothing in your drink.
That's cool. Hey, Gene, and we also need to plug, listen, everybody still knows they can get stuff from Amazon every day. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the Uncrowned King, Amazon. If you want to go to get you a good read, you can go to Amazon and get that. And, man, Gene, I think we answered your questions well tonight? And you're seeing us, so you think people want to see us again, or do we need to go back off?
No, I think they're going to like this, man. I think
Hey, I think I'm looking pretty doggone good. I don't know what they're thinking about y'all, though.
Well, you just look like a talking head. You've got your camera so low, you don't see anything from under your chin.
Well, I've been at the beach all day. I forgot we was live. Usually I don't have to worry about it. And then when y'all said it's live, I thought, dang.
Well, we're not live, but we're on video, though. We'll do the live thing pretty soon.
Live to me, baby. Hey, but anyway, I want to give a big shout out. We're going to be in that Saturday night in Shawneetown, big cage match. And then at Sunday, we're going to be there at the racetrack doing the Indy 500. So big shout out to all the race fans up there. And big shout out to the folks there in Shawneetown, I mean. And it's going to be a good weekend. Thank you, XICW, Herb, Jason. And, hey, the fire chief right there in Shawneetown, man. Thank you for making it happen. Thank you, Doug. Hey, even thank you, Gene.
Well, that's nice, Tom. That's nice, Tom. And like I said at the start of this, Gene, we want to thank Glory Days John. He's a cool dude. Takes care of me and Tommy and takes us around to WrestleCons and stuff. And
it has a big shout out to his I can't think of his doggone name, but it has the elite card collectibles too.
Right, and everything. And also, like I said before, Jackson Ty and Tim with the cool guys there and everything. But anyway, hey, man, we hope we've answered all of your questions. And if you got more questions, just send them to Gene, and we will keep answering. But listen, we appreciate everybody listening. And listen, peace. We're out.
Got a stack of VHS tapes, dusty old newsletters, dusting men in tiny capes, playing old video games. His basement a shrine to the past, the wrestling's glory days forever last. Retro fan.